I saw this question that was posted online.
Development community, as we've mentioned, is amazing. If you're getting started and you're asking yourself what language should I choose,
would you create a new anything with PHP?
We don't really have a direction. We have an idea.
I think the difference between the passionate or talented programmer and the one that just gets the education is the guy that goes home after the education is done and continues. Hey, welcome to Tech Uncensored. My name's Nick. This is Tech News. Today we're going to go over a couple stories just real quick. WikiLeaks wanted to keep that in the news a little. They are now saying they're going to be offering the leaks from the CIA documents over to tech firms first, such as like Google and Apple. And just a couple highlights from that. Julian Assange, he's still claiming that there's a lot more info out there that they have failed to even talk about. Even though the big one is the big trickster thing where they're tricking malware attacks to be coming from other countries, which doesn't sound like new type of information. I mean, common sense would say if I'm going to send malware, of course I'm going to make it seem like Russia or Asia or wherever sent it instead of the U.S. That doesn't even sound like new news. Like in my personal opinion, if you're doing malware attacks and it's even seeming like it's coming from the same country you're in, you're doing it wrong. So, but their big trickster stuff just sounds like, I don't know, for example, to me is like when Clinton was saying Russia did all them attacks for the whole email scandal and stuff and that she got set up. That sounds like along the lines what these trickster things are. I'm not saying that's an example of what happened. I'm just saying, like, if you could say what was the big idea with the whole Hillary Clinton scandal, and then you look at CIA probably having something to do with that, I would, put those two together. Though that's not a reference or example or anything. That's just where my head would fly when you think about trickster malware and stuff, saying, oh, yeah, someone else did it. But anyway, so they're going to give the information to tech firms first, which in turn gives big tech companies like Google and Apple the, hindsight to basically combat that type of malware that could be exposed to their companies, because they're saying potentially it could cost them billions in damage. If these leaks are through their companies, such as just breaking down server systems, stuff like that. At the same time, my opinion on that is, why are we giving it to big tech companies? The whole point of WikiLeaks, I understand it's confidential, but don't give it to anybody. Or, I don't know exactly how it works with the whole WikiLeaks thing, but the whole reason we it shouldn't be a show and tell. It shouldn't be, we'll let, big powerhouses get the information first, and then, fuck it, let's, after they dismantle and say what they want to do with their house security stuff. Now, I do agree professionals should be on board in releasing this information, but the way they're making it sound is like, well, we'll let them get a stab at it first so they get the most pertinent shit, and makes you think as this shit trickles down, we the people that we're hearing so much stuff about the big, it almost makes WikiLeaks look bad. Like you're trying to, hey, the people, fuck the CIA, but then we're going to give it to big bad companies like, I'm not saying Google and Apple are bad, but like they're big, they might as well be government. In this day and age, if you think the government isn't, a little bit, swayed by, tech companies like Google and Apple, like you got to be off your fucking rocker, right? Like I'm not saying I don't believe in the government, I'm not saying conspiracy or any of that shit, but like, come on now. Like you got $1 billion Google saying, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to get into that. Probably a big blank space is going to come before what I just said. But like I said, just my opinion, if we start going to big tech firms like Google and Apple, and you're not letting the American people see it, which seems to me like WikiLeaks should be the whole thing. This is what the government did bad. They found information. Either just say you got it, do some black line shit like you see in government documents anyway, or don't fucking give it to big tech company. That shit doesn't even make sense to me. In other news, this is stuff I like. There's a new tool out. It's called UnCSS. It's made by GIAKKI. So github.com/GIAKKI. He made a new tool called UnCSS, and I thought this was pretty neat to bring up because what it does is it'll basically crawl through your CSS and your tooling and basically remove any styles that aren't being used. So if you have, a bunch of CSS in there and, it's causing bloat, which it can, and cause your, initial paint for your load time to be longer and stuff like that. This is going to go through and just basically yank all that shit out. So I thought it was a pretty cool tool. I mean, of course, watch what you're styling with anyway, but definitely a cool tool. There's definitely reasons to, consider using this, and I would go check that out on CSS, and it's github.com/K or GIAKKI. It works across multiple files and even with injecting with JavaScript injections for CSS. So check that out. And last up in the news today, Microsoft is going to start using ARM processors over Intel for their services like Azure, which I thought was pretty neat because the whole big thing on that is Intel has this almost monopoly-like cloud over any type of usage, and finally they're saying, well, these work good too. So Microsoft is in beta trying to use these ARM processors because they just built a Windows operating system server that's using the ARM processor chips, and it's working fine. So Intel's little rain cloud is it could potentially, with a big company like Microsoft just switching off of Intel completely, could definitely mean bad business and cloudy days for Intel. That being said, don't forget AMD is doing a lot of cool stuff right now. Their price points on stuff for their chipsets and stuff like that is also going down. Opinion-wise, I fucking love it. So, Intel's, they've been doing it, but every bubble has to burst, right? So, with all that being said, make sure you check out tomorrow for another tech news story. My name's Nick. Check out us on Periscope and Twitter, and make sure you hit the subscribe button. Paul should be coming around shortly to help me out with these videos. And until next time, stay coding.